Welcome to Two Pastors and a Podcast. Do. After many weeks.
How long is it?
I can't even remember. It's been a while.
It's still on Facebook. So it's still on Facebook, the last one. So it's been less than 30 days.
Yeah.
But probably the full 30 days.
Been sick. Been busy.
Mm-hmm.
Good times.
I wouldn't call them good. But
No.
okay, I'm all set up.
Yay.
Hi.
Hello.
We're back.
We are alive after Easter.
Today, anyway. We are alive after Easter. I think mentally less alive than I was last week, but
That's all right. Gotta do what you gotta do.
so we gotta get our bearings real quick.
Oh, yes.
I'm looking at my hair in the screen.
Oh, when's your haircut?
Great news, everyone. T-minus 6 hours.
Ooh.
And 20 minutes from now, I will be getting my first haircut in 12 weeks.
And she's going to look at it and be like,
she might be a little upset at me because I think I might be one of the last ones of her day. And to have to deal with this.
She is going to have to cut a lot off. You're going to feel like a new person.
Yeah. Yeah.
I used to go like a year and a half without cutting my hair because I never liked it when people cut it, so I just never cut it.
Oh.
It would get to the point where I'm like, I'm going to learn to cut my own hair. I never did.
I've watched people do that.
I have too, and apparently it's easier with curlier hair than it is with straight hair.
Because you can't see if you mess up.
That's right. That's exactly right. You got to do it a certain way. You got to like cut it like right there in the middle of a curl. I did research it, never did it, which you could almost do that now because yours is getting curly too.
The only problem is I turned my head just a second ago. I'm looking at it.
Oh, no.
It's not looking good back there.
Just don't look at it.
It's not looking
Just
good
don't
back
look.
there.
Don't bend over. It's
12
fine.
weeks. And that is as tall as it got. That's it. You got to be kidding me right now.
It's fine. It's fine. You just don't bend over and it's fine. You're a tall person. Most people can't see up there.
Tori always tells me, it's not bad, Josh. It's not bad. But I think with it being longer, really long for me, well, there's a couple of things. If it doesn't lay perfectly, it like parts in certain places that makes it look bare.
So you need a toupee.
No, it's more like the way I think because it's thinner and I have less hair. It's the way my hair just kind of lays where it just, but the other thing is it's not just up here. Actually being longer, what's been bad is right here. Because if this moves wrong, it literally looks like I'm wearing a toupee trying to cover, or I'm that guy with 5 hairs that they're trying to cover. So it just accentuates the growing widow's peak. That's where we are.
Have you ever thought about going bald?
I think when the time comes, probably. I think I've got my dad's hair though. My dad really just kind of didn't go all the way, went up quite a bit, and he still got his hair. But if he lets it get long, it gets poofy right here. He's not super bald in the back. So I think I'm going to look like my dad's head, which I'm not going to complain about. It just means keep it shorter and make it look nice. But, yeah.
It's fair. They have nice wigs nowadays, too.
I won't wear wigs. I don't care. I don't care. Good morning, Lie to Me. Or I guess, sorry, it is 1 o'clock.
Afternoon.
Afternoon.
Happy lunch break.
Caitlin wasn't feeling good this morning, so we postponed it till she was feeling a little better.
I've learned in my, how old am I? 34 years. When spring springs is not a good day for me.
No.
I woke up and my eyes were like, I want to pull these things out and just put them right here to rest for a little bit. My dad mowed yesterday. Our neighbor mowed yesterday. I went to the baseball field yesterday. Me and grass just aren't friends.
Yeah. I did not mow yesterday. It was a great day. No, I have to, like, the amount of nose blowing I have to do right now is crazy.
It is crazy.
Blow.
It froze last night, so I thought maybe it wouldn't be as bad. Damage was already done.
Yeah. It's all up in the air. There's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
And the amount of rain we've gotten is like making everything grow so fast.
I was looking out in our backyard and I was like, it's so much greener than it was like just a week ago. Like,
I know,
it's
it's
nice,
about time.
But
Yesterday we were on our way to, I was taking the girls to school yesterday morning. And, you know, the thing about life is you just kind of, you're always on the go. And just with anything, just living life, you tend not to look up a lot. You kind of keep your head, your eyes to the ground because you're always driving or watching a road.
trying not to trip over your own feet.
Oh, it's frozen, Ida May says. Facebook has an alert that they are trying to correct the error.
Oh, does that mean we need to pause?
I don't know. Can you hear us?
Yeah.
Is it just video? I'm watching it on my iPad. Well, anyway, we don't look up a lot. We tend to look down at the ground. And one day we're just like, oh, when did everything change? Because the one time, so we were driving to school yesterday and the trees, I was like, oh, girls, look at the trees. They're starting to turn green. They're all starting to bud. And that made me very happy to think, it's going to be green.
And they didn't care.
Good morning, pollen people, Missy says.
Oh, thanks. It's afternoon, Missy.
No, I think pollen people, maybe this is the morning.
That's fair.
We can ask Dawn. Dawn, how you doing today?
We're doing great. So I'm guessing they can hear us then. Just maybe not see us.
I don't know. We'll see. Can everyone hear us and see us? I mean, I can see. Hey, Michael.
Let us know.
Or Mike. Why did I call you? Because it says Michael Fry. Mike.
Michael.
Hey, Mike. I miss you and Patsy. I hope you guys are doing well.
I thought about doing I'm not doing that. I don't care all that much.
Here we are. Okay.
All right.
I want to.
Good morning, pollen people. Take a drink.
It's the fake flowers.
Those tulips, too close.
Those tulips are killing me right now. Could someone just send me a quick reply that says you can hear us okay? Or, maybe the video's frozen for some of you, but not all of you. I don't know. I just don't want to get going if it's not working.
Right. Let us know.
Well, like I said, it's on my iPad here. So, okay, Missy says she can hear and see.
Oh, well, good. Good,
Okay.
good. All right.
Hopefully Lida May gets it figured out soon. Anyway, I wanted to start today by saying thank you to everyone who worked really hard to make Easter happen. I thought, so let me say the thank yous first, and then I'll say what I want to say about Easter week in general. Okay. Otherwise, this brain's done. So thanks to Billy and Kathy and Jennifer and Dawn and Missy for whether it was decorating, setting out shirts for Be the Light, to cooking pancakes and sausage, and
cleaning the church.
It was a lot that went into making Easter Sunday happen. Mike, it'll be good to see you. But people gave a lot of time, and so thank you for all the help for making it happen. It was a good day. It was a good day. We got to sing to a baby.
Oh, that made me so happy.
I know. He's a cuddler.
So squish. I love that stage. The squishy stage. You just went.
He just squished up on me. It was a beautiful thing. So anyway, thanks for that. Thanks for all the help. Breakfast was great. It was so loud in the fellowship hall while everyone was eating. I was like, oh, that's so nice. I only got yelled at one time.
for not eating.
for taking too long to pray so that everyone else could eat. Thank you, Brittany. But I need that. It's like I'm out here yakking.
I don't know what time it is.
She comes out of the village wall. She's like, Joshua Jones, I have been here since 7 a.m.
I want my pancakes.
I was like, I'm coming.
Oh, that's hilarious.
It's all out of love. I'm so glad that I love that kind of interaction with people that know me and love me, and they don't mean ill by it or whatever. Brittany doesn't ever mean ill by it, but it was so funny.
That's hilarious.
Okay, I'm coming to pray. Let's pray and eat. So breakfast was great. The day was great. Baby was great. Cuddly, squishy little ball. So it was a good day. I answered the question, if this is the last Easter, that you preach to this congregation, or to preach ever, what do you want to say? And so I tried to answer that as best I could. I think I answered it okay. But the whole week, I just want to say, I felt like, I'm grieving that our children's ministry program is not, our children's ministry numbers are not robust. So that's my grief for Easter, is not seeing a ton of kids around. So, I'm praying that for our church that turns around. But outside of that, I thought the week went really well. The services were really brief and simple, as they always are, but they were really meaningful, and hearing people talk about what they've learned and what they learned for the first time through Holy Week is always a pleasure for a pastor to see people actually learning new things, even if they've been in church their whole life. So getting that this Easter time was great. So I said it last year. I'll say it again this year. I think we found the recipe for Holy Week at this church. Yeah. It works really well.
It does.
So it was a great week.
I enjoyed it.
Very tiring week.
I bet it was.
Very tiring. Yesterday was like, whoa.
4 sermons in 1 week.
It was in a row. Yeah.
It's a lot of brain power.
It was an enormous amount of brain power. I don't know what I'm going to do this week. I'm just like take it one day at a time.
That's
and when
fine.
I'm finally able to write again, it'll be okay. But
hopefully
right
not.
now,
Hopefully it's not like Saturday at 11 o'clock again.
I mean, it very well could be. And it is what it is. It'll be fine. It is Be the Light.
Yay!
It is Be the Light starting this Sunday. So I do know, at least thematically, what I'm going to be talking about a little bit. It's also Family Sunday this Sunday. So are we going to have a puppet show?
Yes.
Yeah, puppet show. Not a sermon in the sack this time because it's Be the Light. Yeah. I want to be more...
probably have the sanctuary in the round again, right?
Oh yeah, because we want the kids in the middle. Yeah, probably. That's what we'll do. So it'll look a little different on Sunday too.
It's our favorite setup.
It's my favorite setup.
It's my favorite. I love the round.
I love the round too. I've watched so many people learn over the years to learn how to worship by watching other people worship, or even learn how to pray by watching other people pray. So that's my favorite.
Yep, that's a good one.
Yep. So, anyway, that's what's going on this week. Okay, so let's do our Real React.
Oh, yes.
And this time it's my turn. Now, I'm not going to post the reel in Facebook for y'all to see. I'm actually just going to quote it.
Okay.
Or quote a thought. It was one of those, like, it wasn't a stitch, but it was like a stitch where the person's listening to a person talk and they've got themselves in the bottom corner and they're pointing. I don't.
It's like their own Real React.
Yeah, and they're getting paid for it.
Yeah, that's right.
I should do that. I should do that.
This is good ideas.
Yeah, that's not bad. You never know.
One of these days.
So here was the quote.
Okay.
The opposite. It's not a joke. I'm just doing this autistic smirk. I can't. Listen, I don't mask it anymore. It just happens, and this is who I am.
You're funny. Go ahead.
So the opposite of belonging is fitting in. The opposite of belonging is fitting in. While you're thinking of that, I'm going to type it in here. The opposite of belonging is fitting in. What do you think?
So, when you think of belonging, you're defining that as
I'm not defining anything.
people like knowing who you are and being okay with that.
I think that would be a portion of it.
And
That's
then,
just being known.
And then the fitting in is like, you're just like everybody else. So you're safe in this group because you're like everybody else.
Sure. Why would that be the opposite of belonging? Is it?
Probably, because
I
I
didn't
know
think
a
it
lot
would
of.
be this hard. I thought this would be.
Are
a
you
little
kidding
easier.
me? Do you know how my brain works?
I do, but I thought I didn't think this through. Go ahead.
You know how many psychological discussions I just had in my head
Yeah,
in the
that's right.
2 minutes we've been talking about this?
Yeah. Caitlin does have a background in psychology. I didn't think that through very much.
Well, if you want to go down the psychological route, I had a professor who would always say that we need each other. Humans need other humans. And if we didn't, we would live in trees. So when you think about how we need each other, because it's not just for physical survival, it's also like a bit of emotional survival as well. So if you are not if you're not known and understood by your group of people, then the opposite would be you're just fitting in to survive. That makes sense in my head. I don't know if it makes sense to anybody else, but it makes sense in my head.
I heard it and I was like, oh, yeah, that's right. That's 100% correct. I was thinking about church.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't feel safe, and I'm not saying this in like a modern sense of kind of, I think there's like, you can take everything too far, right? So fitting in or belonging, so whatever I'm about to say here, you could take way too far. Missy says, when you fit in, you are like others. When you belong, you are loved for being different.
Mm-hmm.
And so being yourself is what leads to truly belonging somewhere, where you kind of just unmask. And fitting in is when you don't feel safe to be who you are, but you can't be alone. And you don't want to be alone. And so you just kind of play the role. But the whole time, when you're just fitting in, you don't actually feel like you're there.
Yeah.
So you don't, like, people like you and they love you, but then what if they find out who you really are?
Yeah.
So you talk a certain way, or you dress a certain way, or you eat a certain way, or, you have conversations about certain topics or, whatever, because that's what they're talking about or how they're saying it. And you don't want to be disruptive. It hit me because being neurodivergent and spending my life masking, especially as a pastor the past 10 years, masking, like, I got to say this a certain way, or act like this at a certain moment, that kind of thing. Or particularly when it comes to like things that about like justice or, whatever. It's like, wow, okay, but that, that's, I better, if I want to fit, I can't,
Right.
that kind of thing. So I was thinking about church, and, at Harbor, 3 words have defined who we are, or at least who we want to be. Belong, serve, and grow. And when I think about belonging in a church, it's like how many people actually belong somewhere versus just try to fit in so that they feel like they're a part of something because they aren't sure if they could belong.
Right.
If people really knew who they were. But I think that's been the great sabotager of the church for a long time. It's self-sabotage.
Right.
But sometimes not. In holiness circles, how did it used to play out? You know what I mean?
Are you doing the right things?
Well, yeah. But also, yeah. So say the right words, dress the right way, those kinds of things. And then, but never be honest about what's really happening because you don't, if you're going to hold that sanctification card,
right,
you got to fit in.
Right.
But what if you're struggling? And so people don't talk about their struggles because in church you got to fit in. And so then you get a lot of people that are fitting in, but how many of us actually belong?
Yeah, sometimes, maybe not all the time, but sometimes fitting in can feel really dishonest.
100%. I was thinking about it on the way here. It's like, okay, when I meet Jesus, things about me are going to change, and I want things to change. And so it doesn't mean that like, oh, come and be who you are is like a green light to just, whatever. And oh, this is just to, there are going to be things that are going to lift and that kind of a thing. Again, the pendulum can swing too far. But I think real belonging is essential in the church to come as you are, but also that means in order for other people to belong, you have to let them be who they are.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just this cycle of people just trying to fit in so that they feel like they're a part of a bigger group and they're not alone. I really like how you brought that up psychologically. Like we need each other. And if we're not sure that we are safe to be who we are, we'll fake who we are so that we can have somebody. Jen says, fake it till you make it. Once you realize it's okay to let your guard down, then you can start being more like yourself and become belonged. Yeah, I think that's right. So anyway, when you think of the opposite of belonging, I think you think you don't belong. But what if it's really down to how the opposite isn't not belonging, but having to be different than you are to pretend that you fit?
I do think it's interesting because I think somebody would automatically assume that like loneliness was the opposite or something.
Yeah.
But loneliness comes from feeling like you can't fit in, quote unquote, or feeling like you don't belong. Like
I never feel more lonely than at a pastor and spouse retreat.
Those are super fun.
And because there's this kind of expectation, and this is where it happens in churches on a more macro scale too. There's this expectation you're going to be a certain way and talk a certain way and look a certain way. And I come in wearing a Star Wars T-shirt, carrying a Boba Fett backpack.
Yep.
Do I belong or not? It's kind of anyway. I've just been ruminating in my mind this morning. What would it look like for Harbor to be a place where you belong? Where everyone can belong, especially when you think of like, again, when I think of masking as a neurodivergent person, it's like, oh, that doesn't make you feel like you belong. You just feel more alone, even when you're surrounded by people. You're in fact more alone surrounded by people than anything. What would it look like at Harbor for people to truly belong, to not feel like, I mean, we're going to lift each other up, I hope, right?
Yeah.
So there might be things that are who we are that we bring in that are that maybe God wants to change, but that comes from a place of love. That has to come from a place of you already belong, and that love happens. But what would it look like? for Harbor to be a place where you could tell people, don't come here to try to fit in.
Right.
Just come and know that you will belong here as you are.
Mm-hmm.
And belonging does feel so good when it really happens.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway.
Well, that's what God called us to. That's why he gave us the church.
That's true. That's true. So I just want, I guess to say to you, we might not always get it right at Harbor, but I think we're on a journey of trying to flesh out, how to make sure people don't feel just welcome when they come, but they feel like they belong here.
Mm-hmm.
Not trying to fit in and feeling lonely behind the scenes, but actually belong here. So I don't know how you make that happen on a structural level, but it's nice to think of.
It is.
Kind of grow my thinking as far as how I make people feel when they talk to me or whatever. Opposite of belonging is fitting in. Hey, whatever time you watch this, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it.
Yeah.
Okay. So today's a little different.
Oh, yes.
I was prepared. I'm not prepared for this.
Not prepared for anything.
I was prepped for this by being told, "Oh, we're doing the podcast, and I'm doing homework." So Caitlin's going to take the show, and she's got a bunch of questions that she wants to ask me.
Well, it's kind of more like a discussion, but that's okay.
Yeah, so fill them in.
So I have been in a class called Leading the People of God. And so it's a leadership class. I have thoughts, but I'll keep them to myself. And so one of my last assignments is to interview someone I consider to be an effective leader and is available for interviewing. That's my mentor. That's what you get to do.
Which one weighs highest?
No, I do think you're
availability
effective.
or mentoring?
Both.
Which one?
Both.
Okay.
But I do think you're an effective leader. So we're going to go through some things, and it might be really boring, and I don't really care.
No, I'll make it lively.
I don't really care if it's boring because I got to get this done. All right.
Shoo-wee.
So one of the things that we talked about a lot at the beginning of my class was how secular leadership and church leadership are oftentimes very different, but they also have some similarities. What do you think are the biggest differences that separate a leader in a church setting with a leader in like a business or whatever in the secular world?
I think that's probably less of a gap than that secular sacred split wants to make it sound. I think in a secular setting, I don't like that language very much. I think that's
you can
old.
change it.
I'm going to change it.
Go for it.
I think outside the church, in non-Christian organizations, non-church organizations, so even a Christian not-for-profit that's not a church is in that same vein. I think you have to use people. Like you got to empower people, and that's really, I think, at its core, anywhere you go, how the people holding you up are functioning and connecting. That's like paramount. Whether that's like Amazon,
Right.
or it's at a local church level. Where it's different is what's driving you, like the intention. So outside the church, so I'm not saying outside of Christianity, outside the church as a group of people and a pastor. Outside the church, it is you are motivating people to affect an outcome. So I want to make sure that my employees are very happy. Because the happier my employees are, the better work they're going to do, the more productive they're going to be. And they're not going to go for another company and make that other company really strong, But church leadership is about empowering people to be ministers,
Yeah.
not to affect the bottom line, not to put more butts in seats so that or even stay, so that I can, be the next TV preacher or something like that. It is honestly, and it's not necessarily about affecting outcomes for the institution, which I think is sometimes a misnomer. My role as a pastor leader is to be a shepherd who provides opportunities, as many as I can, authentic opportunities for the congregation that attends church here to grow and take on ministry as a part of their identity. And that's it. I can't force them to do that. I'm not here to put on a show.
Right.
So I think that's probably the biggest thing is the outcome. I'm not, again, outside the church. It's about growing an institution so that it's long-term sustainable and effective and successful. And the church, it's about empowering people not to affect an institution's end, but so that they can be Christ-like, be leading people to Christ, taking care of one another, and being able to do that without me.
So it's really just the mission is different.
Yeah, I think so. And the mission dictates why you are empowering the people around you or not. I want to be able to die and the church still be doing the church's work.
Yeah.
And not making a bunch of money or building great big buildings, but growing closer to Jesus and calling people to a life with Christ.
Yeah.
That's it. So outside of that, like institutionally, there's not a lot of difference.
Right.
The motivating factor, I think, is what's the real difference.
Yeah. I agree with that. So you mentioned like bringing people along as a leader. And one of the things that we discussed in my class, one of the things that we discussed in my class was how a pastor as a leader prepares and creates more leadership in the church in terms of like whether it be ministry leaders or for small group leaders or Sunday school leaders, whatever it is for your particular church. And I know that we've talked about this before, but I would like to put it in my report. What is it that you look for when you are trying to find or be sensitive to people who have potential of leadership? What is it that you look for as a lead pastor in people?
I appreciate that question right now. And I think we talked about this just last week.
We did.
Yeah.
But I want to put it in my favor. So talk about it again.
Okay. This is new for me. And it comes from watching a Francis Chan sermon or maybe a teaching moment. I can't remember. So I used to think, you want to make sure it's and I'm not against this. I still think it's valuable and important, but find the strengths of people and identify areas in the church where that fit their strengths and, put them in those various places so they can use their strengths. I think that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm not saying not to do that. But brand new last week, honestly, I kind of had a transformative moment when I think about what that means. How to equip people. So that's your question, right?
Yeah,
like, who do you see? How do you see them to kind of be able to point out this is someone that, can lead other people someday, especially if I say that the goal of church leadership isn't to affect an institution's outcome, but about equipping you to be pastors to each other.
Yeah.
Francis Chan said, one of his great mentors is a pastor in India that's led literally millions of people to Jesus, which is crazy to think of, but literally millions of people to Christ. And he said he just had to go figure out, how did you do this? So, he's over there talking to him. And he says, so he brings up, how'd you do this? And this guy looks at him and goes, yeah, you Americans. It's always about strategy.
That it is.
It's always about this, and I know what he's talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it absolutely is. And I think church leadership courses oftentimes are about strategy.
Right.
Church planting oftentimes is about strategy. Put your stuff in place so that you can do this, and then this is going to affect this, and this is going to affect this, and then boom.
Right.
And sometimes when we think of people like that, it's like, well, if I put this person here, they're going to be able to affect this change, and then this change will happen, and then boom. I learned the hard way over 10 years. So I'm now different. So the guy says to Francis, he goes, I find the humblest people I know. That's it. They don't have to be great at anything or everything. They could have great talents. They could have small talents. They could have nothing. But if they're the humblest people I know, those are the people that I put in leadership. I was like, yeah, that's right. That's really right. Because that's Christ.
Yeah.
And so I think that's changed me forever. Is, okay, yes, I want to know your strengths. I want to know what your gifts are. I think those are valuable. God gives them to us for each other.
Yeah.
And that's the humility part. So when I can see someone that is serving in the church, belongs, serve, grow. When I can see people serving in the church and they're genuinely, there's no strings attached. You see the way they talk to people, the way they respond to people. If I can look at them and say, that is a humble person, I like a really humble person, I'm going to put them on the board.
Yeah.
Maybe not the board. Sometimes some of that ruins people's lives. But no. So I'm so glad you asked that question because it was just last week that I was like, oh, wow, gut check. Okay, what's it going to mean to be a good leader in the church in a world full of haughtiness and pride and authoritarianism and all of those things, the strong man.
Yeah.
I'm looking for people who are humble like Christ. And I think if you surround a church, if the church's leadership as a whole are the humblest people that the community knows, you got a successful church guaranteed.
Yeah. I agree. I thought that was a fun one.
That was a good one.
That was
Literally,
good.
last week, that changed my life.
Yeah.
So there we go.
That's good. Okay. Thank you. Okay. So, all right. In my class, we have discussed 11 competencies of an effective pastor, leader, whatever, in a church setting.
Oh, you have to have all 11?
I'm just...
No, is that, don't know. I mean, is that like...
No.
Oh, okay. But there are 11 competencies. You got to have some of them.
Yes.
Okay, fair enough.
But
you might talk autism here.
You might have all of them. But I'm going to go through them real fast. We're
going
to go through them.
Go ahead.
So these 11... and
you can disagree.
Also, I printed you off so that you don't have to remember them. You're welcome.
Where's it at?
Right there. All of it.
That's everything? Oh, 11 core competencies.
Yes.
Okay.
So we have the student, the planner, the inspirer, the manager, the change agent, the problem solver, the delegator, performer of multiple tasks, shepherd, servant, and person of moral character. So first, what do you think about that list? Does it summarize your 10 years of being a lead pastor pretty well? Or would you add anything to it? I'll let you think about it for a minute. Because there's a lot.
I hate it.
Oh, do tell.
I do. I hate it.
Mm-hmm. Does it feel like it kind of waters everything down?
I think things like this turns the role of pastor, especially in a leadership class, into a CEO. and also isn't realistic all the time. And when we talk competencies, we're saying, I'm not all of them, Macedonia. I'm like, I can look at this list and be like, that's definitely not me. I think like
What'd
maybe
she say?
she just said Josh is all of them. And I was like, I remember I remember looking one time at I think I preached on this.
Mm-hmm.
I brought up I did some research. Missy says plus friend.
Oh.
And that is part of the problem with this list.
Mm-hmm.
It's not relational.
Yeah. Okay. So this is a good point that we need to make, because you have said that you've based your ministry on being as relational as you can. Okay. Continue.
So I was doing a sermon. I did some research. I was looking around at the Nazarene job board, and there's all these churches looking for senior pastors, and they've got 15 categories and 5 sentences or 5 bullet points for each category that the pastor needs to be, needs to have under their belt.
Yeah.
This is the guy we're looking for, the gal that we're looking for. They got to check off all of these boxes. That is so corporate America that I hate it, because who can live up to that? I mean, it's easy to like sit in a board and list out 800 things that you want this pastor to be. It's not realistic. It's also not personal. Especially when factually, I know that, let's say, you got a good preacher or a bad preacher. That's relative and subjective, because if you love a pastor, if you know the pastor loves you and you love that pastor could be, in the eyes of 99% of the world, the worst preacher of all time, but you think their preaching is top of the line. Because you know they love you and you love them, and that preaching is everything, right? So subjective in that. Now, if I can set aside the very institutionalized language of this leadership, which I just think is archaic and wrong, and I mean that for your professor, you can pass it on.
I'll put it in my paper. Don't you worry.
I'm arrogant enough to do that.
I've heard a lot of that.
Probably like
in my
my neurodivergent brain is not gonna like hold everything.
You tell your professor.
Yeah, you tell him. You tell him. Anyway, so obviously a student, but I don't think that's a competency. I love Jesus, and I just want to know more about Jesus.
Yeah.
Like
So
that's it.
It's more of, it's not necessarily something that you have to force yourself to do. It's just something that you want to do because you want to grow in Jesus.
I love it when something clicks. Man, my heart is all over the place when something clicks. It's just because I love Jesus. I want to know as much as I possibly can. It's not a competency.
Right.
I'm the worst student ever. I have ADHD and I'm autistic. What am I going to do? I'm going to fail every class and every paper. I'm going to struggle bus it. Oh, I'm a terrible student who procrastinates until 1:00 in the morning, the night before the paper. I am a
the night before
student.
Easter.
So, I mean, I think that's just, if you love Jesus, that's just what you do.
Right. Now, I haven't finished classes and stuff yet, but there is a specific amount of like continuing education hours that you have to do as a pastor and a leader in the Nazarene church. Do those feel like clinical? Do they feel dry to you, or have you found some that you enjoy doing?
I read.
Yeah.
I don't much care about the rules beyond that.
Awesome.
Did you do 20 hours? You know how many books I read?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. You don't have to. Yeah. I don't need an obligation.
Yeah.
Now, not everyone's like that, so maybe that's where I'm competent and they're not.
I mean, maybe.
No, I mean, none of these are bad. Here's what I will say. I know what I'm not competent at in this list. I'm not a planner. I'm not a great manager. I'm Like I'm not there. I know I'm not competent at everything. And that's where this, I think, stresses me out. However, I think it's first and foremost important that I know who I am and who I'm not. And I've learned and want to rely on people who are good at things that I'm not good at.
Ooh, this is a good point. So when you are looking for people who come with you in ministry, do you look for people who are not, like, who are better at some things than you are? Or is there certain things that you're like, I'm not super
I don't look
great,
for it.
but it just sort of happens?
Yeah, I don't look for it. So when you told me you were called into ministry, and I said, "Oh, I have a job for you,"
That was a great day.
like I don't, literally right there in Starbucks, I was just like, "Oh, okay, you'll be our children's pastor." I didn't know what you were good at or not good
Right.
at. I had no idea. But I've learned as I've gotten to know you over the years, I've learned what you're really good at. I've learned that you're really, really good. So let's use this as an example. It's hard for me to read between the lines, but I know that a lot of times manipulation's happening in certain kinds of communication. I've learned that you are really good at helping me get outside of my struggle of interpretation and help me hear things the right way. As soon as I know that you have a pretty good strength about that, and I don't, you're my go-to at like trying to figure that stuff out. Particularly as well, like I'm not good at articulating things. I say what I mean what I say. It can kind of come across gruff or too forward or rude or whatever it might be. It is what it is. But you're really good at helping me and anybody. I think anybody. You're really good at helping anybody just say things in a good way. But those are minor things. I guess what I'm just pointing out is like part of the process of putting the right people in the right place is just getting to know them and trusting that God's going to show what they're good at and what they're not good at.
Yeah.
And as soon as I know what you're good at, like, I'm good.
Yeah.
This show is not about me.
Right. I do think it's very interesting to see how your relational view of ministry kind of flows out into all the different aspects of it. That's really interesting.
I guess when I see this list, student, planner, inspirer, manager, change agent, problem solver, delegator, performer of multiple tasks, which delegator and performer of multiple tasks are oxymorons to be next to each other. You got to be good at both of those things. Shepherd, servant, person of moral character. It's just an impossible thing. I don't know what my big problem is with the list. I know what it is. And I think this is the danger the church is, I think this is what we've fallen into over the past several decades. Church, the local church, has quickly just become an institution, a business. And I know that's easy to kind of latch on to, and you hear that sometimes. From cynics, I don't really listen to it very much, so for whatever that's worth. But it's become very institutional. It's about, keeping the bills paid, proving to authority that, it's growing and things are doing well. And there's a very business-like relationship between pastor and congregation. It's like, okay, we hired you to do these things. And that's a very employee, employer, institutional way. And this list, I think, screams to me the institutional church that is dying,
Mm-hmm.
and it should die. When I think of being a pastor, a leader, I want to love Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
I want to love Jesus so much that it makes you want to love Jesus. I want to talk about Jesus and learn about Jesus, and you see how much I love learning something new about Jesus, that it makes you really love learning something new about Jesus.
So you want to be an inspirer.
I don't. I don't. I don't want that as a title. I don't want that as a competency.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to be in love with Jesus and it be infectious.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I can lead an organization. I can help you make financial spreadsheets till your eyes bleed. I can transform a church's treasury system and financial system to something transparent and predictable and good. I'm really good at that.
Mm-hmm.
Really good at that. And we're blessed because of it here. I can help you elevate your social media presence and your online presence and your visual cues. And I can lead music, and I can help inspire you through song and do it in the most basic way possible. I can do all those things. And church can grow and it can look good on the outside. But if people aren't falling more in love with Jesus, then who cares?
Mm-hmm.
If our lives are looking no different Monday through Saturday, who cares?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, fine. You know, what if I have 500 people coming to church on a Sunday? I can tell you right now, in the Church of the Nazarene, I'd be a hot commodity.
Yep.
I'd probably be nominated as a district superintendent because I could somehow institutionally inspire every other church to become 500 people. But what if their lives are no different? What if they feel just as lonely?
Mm-hmm.
What if they feel just as misunderstood? What if they feel like they've got to fake it till they make it?
Mm-hmm.
What good is that?
Right.
What good is that? I just want to be me. If that inspires somebody, trust me, I'm not inspiring. I'm a pain in the butt. I'm not inspiring. You don't understand. I am not inspiring. If you are inspired to fall more in love with Jesus because of me, it's not me.
Yeah.
Period. That's a 1 Corinthians chapter 1 thing. If you are inspired, thank God
Mm-hmm.
that he was able to inspire you despite me. You know what I mean? That, I don't want to be inspiring.
Yeah.
If my love for Jesus inspires you, that's a God thing, and I'm grateful. I don't care about the institution becoming the hottest thing in town. I care about the people that come here that they love each other,
Mm-hmm.
that they feel loved by each other. They feel like their pastor knows them and speaks their language and speaks to them, but also that he or she lifts them up, calls them higher, calls them deeper. That's it. Surround myself with the humblest people I can find in the whole world.
Mm-hmm.
Humble meaning I don't need accolades. I don't need to be in charge. I don't need everyone to look at me and think, oh, this person's really got it together here. Just humble.
Mm-hmm.
If all I got is a house church, 5 people who eat lunch together every Sunday, worship the Lord together and serve together, I'm just not much of an institutional guy anymore. It hasn't worked. It hasn't worked. This approach hasn't worked. That's why we say we live in a post-Christian society. If it worked in the most Christian country in the entire world, we would not be in a post-Christian society.
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't work. So that's kind of where I'm at there. I think if people could, like, say, is Pastor Josh a good leader? I think if they said, he loves me and he's a friend and he's taught me to love Jesus. Like, if that was it. He's a terrible planner. He gets time blindness. He's always behind. He gets overwhelmed. You can list out all the drawbacks, but if they could just say, he loves me and I matter to him and he matters to me and he helps me love Jesus and he loves you. If that's it, then I have fulfilled my calling.
So, in your opinion, then, do you feel like an effective leader can be simpler than these?
I think there's a lot of pressure in things like this to look at what I'm not good at and what I'm missing. Oh, that's why I'm not a good leader. I've got to get all these things figured out if I'm going to be a good leader. If you got to get all these things figured out, then it's not about the church that you're ministering to. It's all about you. And the church needs to get back to doing ministry for and with one another. I guess I would look at a church and say, is this what a church looks like? Do we collectively as a people coming together have these competencies? The right people in the right place, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it needs to become less pastor-centric.
Yeah.
It's not about me.
Right.
It's not. I love being a pastor 90% of the time. I hate it when it's about being a businessman. And I know that's not what they're, to the credit, I know what they're doing in the class. I'm not saying that, they're lost. I'm sorry if it comes across that way. I'm just blunt, and I'm not going to mask it anymore. I'm just blunt. And I might ruminate on this conversation a little bit and be like, I shouldn't have said it so gruff, or I shouldn't have said this one so sharp, but it is what it is. I know what they're doing. Like when you go in as a church pastor, you need to be a good leader. You need to think about all the hats you're going to have to wear. I can do all those things. It's fine. It's fine. So I get it. I don't know.
We should all have the same goal as leaders in the church, whether you're a congregant or a pastor. We all have the same goal. I think.
What's our goal?
What is our goal? Is our goal to get people in the church?
Yeah.
Is our goal to go out?
Yeah.
Like, these are the things that you have to agree on as a church. And I think that you said it really well, that all of these should be in the church as a whole. So you have somebody who's a really good planner, and so they maybe help you, plan events or plan whatever. You have somebody who's really good at problem solving, and so you call them when you have a problem.
Yeah. That's exactly right.
It can be an all hands on deck sort of situation, I think. But I also know you, and when I was
Okay, I want to hear this.
when I was writing all these out, I'm like, he's gonna feel like this is so inauthentic.
I think yes, that's 100% what I was feeling. Yes, and that's hard for me to get over. So, I read Inspirer. Minister talks in a persuasive manner about the importance of improving efficiency or quality. What are we running here? A warehouse?
I am so sorry. I should explain what these are. These are laity's statements about
Yeah.
a pastor in.
Yeah. This is the employee-employer
Yep.
relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Proposes challenging but realistic objectives. No, I'm going to give you impossible objectives so you can trust in the power of the Lord. That's what I mean. Like, develop enthusiasm by appealing to your pride in accomplishing a challenge. I'm not here to puff your ego. Pride? That's what church people are saying. So I can appeal to your pride? Everything in me right now is like crawling.
Which is why you can't sit still.
I'm just getting amped up right now reading this. Like, but this is where it's like I think we got it. I think we messed up.
Yeah.
Where churches have thought, oh, we got to look for this quality and this quality and this quality. I need this. And every application you go to, every job description for a pastor is every one of these. So what you're saying is you don't want someone that loves Jesus and loves you. You need this pastor to run the business like Jeff Bezos.
Yeah.
Where you're just a pawn to be moved and inspired to feel good, but you don't have to do anything. No.
Yeah.
No. It didn't work. It didn't work. God has gifted every person in this room for the uplifting of the community.
Yeah.
This is our work, to love one another. I just want to be an example of that as I love you. I love my staff. I love my family. I want to be an example of being a good student by just talking to you about Jesus and pushing you a little further and telling you about what I learned that I'm so excited about so that you might be excited about learning more and doing more and loving each other really, really well. I'll go the extra mile and show up to every service that nobody else wants to come to, and I'll make my kids come to everything that you don't make your kids come to because I want you to want that for your own life too.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. That's all that matters to me. And I think for so long we started looking for these qualifications and we wonder why our churches are struggling. It's like we want to churn out good institutional leaders.
Yeah.
I prefer William Williamine's book called Pastor.
Okay.
Pastor is prophet, pastor is shepherd, pastor is teacher, pastor is, whatever. If I'm gifted at being a pastor, it's probably one or two or three of those things over the other things.
Yeah.
But when it comes to institution, when it comes to competency, I might be good at some of these things, but I don't feel like they're the point.
Yeah. Well, when
like
I
a
was,
side point.
Right. When I was going through all these, I really did enjoy the lecture on shepherd, pastor as a shepherd, which kind of says something. But
that's what I hope to be.
Right.
Yeah.
What I liked about that one, in thinking about this little discussion interview situation, they were talking about how a pastor, a leader, how do I want to say this? A pastor who is an effective leader as a shepherd will make sure that each person is able to be shepherded no matter what their level is, no matter what their ability is. And I think what I've so much appreciated since coming here is watching how you see somebody and you realize like a struggle or whatever that's preventing them from learning, growing, serving, whatever it is, and you're able to make those changes. I don't really have a question about that. I just want to say I see it, and I appreciate that.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough.
I don't have a question, but I do see that. So I do have one. How long are we?
We're good.
Okay. I got one more question for you, which you're going to love.
Right. Hopefully, sorry. I know that was kind of sharp, but I think for you that watch that, it's our people. I think you hear me right.
Yeah.
I think,
I know what you're talking about.
Okay.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. Okay. What advice would you give
Okay. Well, I don't know why you're laughing, but here we go.
for new leaders or new pastors who are finding their leadership footing? I didn't give you that question. Do you want to look at it?
No, just say it again. I'm going to listen.
Okay. What advice do you have for new leaders or new pastors who are finding their leadership footing?
Okay. I'll try to think in layers. First, live with integrity. In every possible way you can. If there's anything you pour yourself into. And I don't think this is just for leaders. This is for church people.
Yeah.
Hear your shepherd today. Devote all your energy to making sure that who you are in public, who people see you as, is no different than who you are at home. I mean, make every effort. There were years where, especially early on when not in vocational ministry, where I looked the part and I talked the part, but there were things happening behind the scenes that made me feel so much shame. I felt like a fraud, a liar, as I struggled through my own stuff. Integrity, number one. Whatever effort you have to expend to make sure that if you're going to talk about Jesus here, that behind the scenes, Jesus is everything. Whatever changes you have to make in your life to make sure that you don't lose a footing behind the scenes so that you can stand before your people and say, "Thus saith the Lord." That's worth every sacrifice, every effort, every change that you can possibly do. Come in with a clear head that says, I'm not preaching at them. I'm with them. And if they come busting down my door, they're going to see the person that they see here on a Sunday. So that's the first thing. Fight for it. Fight for it. Everything else is worth giving up to make sure that you are a person of integrity. That definitely means like don't be preaching on things and telling everyone else don't be doing things if you struggle with those same things.
Yeah.
Like just at that point, you're only preaching to yourself.
Right.
Right. So integrity, number one. You're not here to be, I want to say this carefully because I think this is a good term and definitely fits who I am here. But there is a fine line that's easy to break down between being the friend and being the pastor. That's an easy line to break down in both directions. When you lead relationally, where it's just about, here's who I am, and I see you, and I hear you, and I know you, and I love you, and I hope to get the same thing in reply, in response. It's really easy to lose the pastor side when you lead like that, where it's just the friend. It's so easy for that to dissolve.
Yeah.
So be relational, be friendly, be the friend, be a friend, and make friends. You know, I'm here just as much as anybody else. But you're here as pastor. And so that means that you still have important work to do to say the things that need to be said.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you can say the things that need to be said in love without being a friend.
Mm-hmm.
But being a friend sometimes makes it really hard to say the things that need to be said.
Yeah.
So know where that line's starting to break down. Recognize that that line will get a little fuzzy sometimes.
Yeah.
It will if you lead that way. And it's okay. Like that happens.
Mm-hmm.
But don't put yourself in a position where you lose your voice to be the shepherd that calls people into the sheep pen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you might lose friends. That's okay. You're here to be a shepherd and to lead people to Christ. And so don't let that line break down. Recognize when it will. But be a friend.
Mm-hmm.
Like, be a friend. Laugh. Have fun. Be vulnerable.
Yeah.
All those things that you do in friendship. And for the church, like, let them be a friend. And you be a friend too.
Mm-hmm.
But never let that line dissolve for them that they're your pastor.
Right.
Let them be, they should be the one. You should be the one as the pastor that they come to pray
Yeah.
first.
Mm-hmm.
That they come to for advice, that they come to for counseling, that they come to for real direction that says, or even real accountability. Let them be the one that speaks into your life.
Yeah.
That says that stops, or hey, you should do this. Like, maintain that relationship with everything. Be their friend, but let them be your pastor, and don't let that line fuzz.
Yeah.
So integrity and maintaining that balance of being a part of you and being your friend.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm your pastor.
Mm-hmm.
Don't let that line erode. And the last thing I think I'd say for today, don't base your success or your worth on what you look like compared to the neighbor next door. Big churches are not a litmus test of success.
Right.
You're not here to be the next big church in town.
Mm-hmm.
Base your success on whether your people are growing, whether their lives are changing because they're falling more in love with Jesus. When you see them smiling, or you hear them laughing and talking, and while they're eating pancakes on an Easter Sunday morning. That's it. And we all get lost there. I think in the Church of the Nazarene, any denomination, or even non-denominational, it doesn't matter. There's so much pressure on fulfilling all these things because,
Right.
we got to grow. We got to be that. If I'm doing my job well, loving my people the best that I can, it's not going to be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a different person. I'm a different kind of individual. I got my own quirks,
Right.
whatever, and difficulties. But if you're loving your people and they know they're loved, you did it.
Mm-hmm.
You did it. If they're growing, if they're growing closer to Jesus, and you can point to someone and say they are different than they were a year ago, you did it. You did it. That's it. You did the work.
Yeah.
Keep doing that work. So don't get caught up with the neighbor next door.
Yeah.
Don't let your church get caught up with the neighbor next door.
Mm-hmm.
Don't let them beat up on themselves because they don't have this program or that program, or we can't do what that church does, and we don't do that. Don't let them do that. It starts here within the four walls of this local church. That's who you're here to minister to, and that's who you are sent here to worship with. That's who God brought you here. Don't get caught up with the rest. Love each other wildly here.
Yeah.
I think that's... So yeah, fight for integrity. Fight for it with every fiber of your being. Be a friend, but be the pastor, both ways. And don't get caught up with the neighbor. And if I could say one more thing, I guess this hit me. This is the past 2 years, but this is important to say. If you are married,
Mm-hmm.
your number one, and if you have kids, so I'm going to lay this out. So even if you're not a pastor, it's still going to go in this order.
Yeah.
Your number one responsibility is to your spouse.
Yeah.
That's number one. So Caitlin, it's not to your kids.
Mm-hmm.
It's to Keith. Keith, not to the kids. It's to Caitlin. Carrie, it's not to the kids. It's to me.
Mm-hmm.
Me, it's not to the kids. It's to Carrie. Your number one responsibility is to your spouse.
Yeah.
Your number two responsibility is to your kids,
Mm-hmm.
if you have kids. That's number two. Why? Why am I saying that? That's for you too. Why am I saying that? Because they're going to move out someday, I hope.
I hope.
I mean, you're raising them to send them off and entrust them in the hands of the Lord to do God's work and to build God's kingdom. If they're still living in your house, it's not working, right? Like eventually they're going to be out of the house. And if they're not, if your spouse isn't number one right now, when they're not in the house, you're not going to know how to talk to each other.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to know how to interact with each other.
Right.
You have to prioritize your spouse right now.
Yep.
That's number one. Number two, your kids. Invest in them the way you do your church. Give them devotional time. Spend time talking about Jesus. Like, go to their sporting. I'm not good at this. Marilyn can attest at you. I wasn't for a while. And sometimes I struggle with being around people that hate my guts. And so I avoid certain things because I don't know how to interact with people like that.
Yeah.
So that's been a pretty sad part of my life the past 9 months or so, a couple of years. I really struggle. Like, how do normal people go places when they know people hate their guts? I can't do it.
Yeah.
So I shut down and I don't go. But go to their things. Support them. Those kinds of things. Do those good things. Then you're a pastor.
I love that you mentioned that because it's such a good reminder that leadership is not like pigeonholed into one little part of your life. It's for all aspects of your life.
Yeah, because if my wife, if Carrie is not being loved at the bare minimum the way God says I need to love my wife, how in the world am I going to teach my people to love each other?
Yeah.
I'm not even doing it at home.
Yeah.
If I'm not raising up my kids to love Jesus and instilling them at home with the stories of Scripture and with who God is and what God wants for their lives and encouraging them to have a word on their lips of good news so that they can bring their friends to Christ or bring them to church. If I'm not doing that, how in the world am I going to tell you to do the same?
Right.
It's got to start at home.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean that even on the local church level, it starts at home here too. Like, how in the world can we say we need to love each other more if we can't even love each other in the same room?
Mm-hmm.
How in the world can we say, this is a place for you to belong if everyone just fits in when they're here, but they don't really belong here? Like it always starts at home.
Yeah.
I always go back to, if we can use some Bible time real quick.
Yeah, go for it.
I was like, I love that 1 Samuel story. It's tragic. You get to 1 Samuel and you got, what's the priest's name? No. I can't remember. Anyway, it's okay. Don't cheat. So it's right at the beginning, and the high priest's sons,
right,
are all terrible.
Elisha.
Nope. Look it up. It's
okay.
1 Samuel. The high priest. What's his name? I can't believe I can't remember. Anyway, his sons are priests too because that's the family line, right? And they're terrible. They're taking the choice meats. They're being sexually immoral. Yep. Like there's all this stuff going on. Samuel is the guy, but who's the high priest that his mom gives him to?
Eli.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, that's Kathy got it. There we go. Eli.
Nice, Kathy.
Bible
trivia.
The Bible
2
trivia.
points.
Here we go. So Eli is there. He's the high priest.
Yeah.
His sons have been around the synagogue for their whole lives, right? And they're rotten to the core.
Yeah.
And Eli's just not. He's not doing his. He's not.
Mm-hmm.
No big deal, I guess.
Yeah.
He kind of chastises them, but he doesn't want them. So he's more worried about the the breakdown of their leadership than he is about their actual character.
Yeah.
And what happens? Like the whole family's taken out of the picture. Like and I remember preaching a sermon on that. I said, I feel bad for him because what did Eli do? Eli didn't do anything wrong. It was his sons that were doing something wrong.
He didn't do anything.
That was my point. I said it starts at home. It always starts at home.
Yeah.
You don't have control over the decisions your kids are going to make. I don't have control over the decisions you're going to make as my brothers and sisters that are my congregants in this local church. But he didn't take the proper steps to really gird himself up at home, especially with his sons, and use that opportunity. And so, yeah, it was his fault. Mm-hmm. It was his fault in the end. So I guess just to bring that up to say, we have to be inside, behind closed doors.
Mm-hmm. Integrity.
What we're talking about here. And so you got to love your spouse.
Yeah.
Men, we can do better. I know this whole macho man thing is making its comeback. But I've watched a lot of men over my years just be straight up abusive and dismissive. So we can do a little better. And women, you can do better too. But you got to love each other wildly. Mm-hmm. If you have kids, that's going to be their example.
Yeah.
Teach your kids. Every moment they can, give them the attention they deserve. Teach them as best you can. And love each other as much as you can here. After all, you're inviting people to church or into the kingdom of God. It's got to look different than the world.
Yeah.
It just has to. So be a good example that way.
I was reading one of my books. Don't ask me which one. I don't know. I read so many of them, I can't remember which one it was. But one thing that I really agreed with it about was that it kind of fought against this consumeristic nature that we have in the church to just take what we need and then leave.
Yeah.
It reminded us, both as leaders and also as congregants, that it is the congregation's job to be a pastor to each other.
1,000%.
And so ministry, it makes me so sad to hear you say that you get so lonely in ministry, because ministry was never meant to be alone. It wasn't ever meant to be just on the shoulders of one pastor leader. It was always supposed to be the church ministering to each other.
I just have a different gift.
Yeah.
And a different calling.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Greatest joy a pastor can have is when he or she can look at the church and say, they're being the church to each other.
Yeah, absolutely.
Be the Light starts this Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
I've said we started in 2020. So this is the 6th year that we're doing Be the Light. I've said, I've always wanted this to be, when people say, who's that church? Oh, it's that church that does Be the Light. Mm-hmm. That's always been my hope. Because it's a time when you're actually supposed to put your money where your mouth is.
Yeah.
Love like crazy. Go above and beyond. Be very intentional. Be very generous. Be very thoughtful. Mm-hmm. All those words are very important. Do it here too.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying be the light to the people that are already here. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying minister to each other.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
Love each other wildly all the time. Be intentional and thoughtful for the people that you sit next to in these pews, in these chairs, all the time. All the time. Mm-hmm. A pastor shouldn't be doing all this stuff. Well, wow, that's too much.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be lonely.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. It only feels lonely when it feels like I've got church, I've got Christians I see on a Sunday.
Yeah.
And I hope I preach good enough so that they come back.
Right.
That's really lonely. I don't think that's what we have here. by any stretch of the imagination. I'm just... What do you think? Am I off base?
I don't think so.
For what it's worth, I'm trying to lead as best I can.
Yeah.
I just try to lead by just being me.
Yeah. And I do think that to use our words, this is very neurotypical. This list is very structured and very like, if I were to I don't know what time we're at, but I would say that there is a difference when you have so much neurodivergence in the world that has been ignored, especially when you have leaders who are probably, a lot of them are neurodivergent, and that's just how it is. God calls all kinds of people to do all kinds of different things. And so when I think about how maybe it's just like the definitions, or maybe it's just how it's been presented, but there is a different way that you lead effectively that's not going to work for somebody else. It's not going to work for a big church. It might not even work for another small church. That's the nice thing about leadership, and it's a good encouragement for the whole congregation, is that it's different for everybody. There's different pockets for each people. God knows that we're all different. He doesn't call us to all be the same. He unites us. He doesn't make us all the same. So I always found that really encouraging anyways.
Yeah, I think that's true. And yeah, that's probably what sets me off the most. Because it just says masking. It's like you got to convince everyone you're all of these things.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah.
And you're not either.
Right.
But we can be together.
That's right.
And I think that's really good.
Yeah.
You're really right. So, if I could be anything for you, I just want you to love Jesus. I really love Jesus in my own way.
Mm-hmm.
It's not an emotional way. I don't feel a lot of emotion most of the time. But it's in a very rich, oh man, this is a person that really loves me.
Mm-hmm.
In a especially for me, who spent most of his life not really loving himself. But here this God is that knows me and loves me. He's worth getting to know. And so I spend my life getting to know him.
Yeah.
And I hope that inspires.
He just rolled his eyes for the people who are listening, not watching.
I hope that inspires you to want to get to know him more too.
Yeah.
That's it. I won't always get it right. And we won't always get it right as a church. There will be failures that come along in leadership, where you might, even as a staff member, be like, man, he really missed the mark on that one. But if I've done my job, we'll all have a lot of grace.
Yeah.
And we'll grow.
Yeah.
And we'll be okay.
Yep.
So for now, I do love you. And I don't always express it well. And sometimes you catch me on like a burnout or a exhausted Krabby Patty kind of thing. And I need my space, and I'm different like that. But I do love you, and I do know you, and I try my best to remember little details about your life and little things that maybe you don't think I notice or that I would remember. Those things stick in my head, and I preach for you.
Yep.
I don't care about solving the world's problems. I got burnt out from that a long time ago.
Yep.
But I know what you're hurting, or how you're hurting, and what you're struggling with. I'm not doing it in a way to call you out, and you know that. But I write my sermons for you.
Mm-hmm.
If I was preaching somewhere else, they wouldn't sound the same.
Right.
I teach for you. And all I want for you is to go deeper and to want to know God more and to be excited about learning more. I hope that's enough. But it's been a good ride so far.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
That's all the questions I have.
Did that fulfill their? Oh my gosh, it's been an hour and a half.
Listen, I tried to ask you how long it had been. I'm so
Not
sorry.
my fault.
I'm so sorry.
Not my fault. It actually is my fault. You just asked questions and I talked a really long time. Hey, that's long enough today.
Oh, man.
I'm glad you guys are here. If by the way, Real React, I'd love to hear your thoughts and whatever you've heard today. If there's something you're like, but did you think about this or did you think about that? Or you liked it, you hated it, whatever it might be.
You want me to write something in my paper? Let me know.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. But for now, have a restful rest of the week.
Yeah.
Enjoy this week and be thinking about how you're going to be the light and who you're going to be the light to.
Yep.
It's time.
It is.
And it's right around the corner. So wear
is.
your shirts on Sunday. If you haven't got yours, they're here. I know. They're right behind me. Come and pick them up. I want to make sure you're wearing them on Sunday. And let's have a great 5 weeks of living out the resurrection. Love your neighbor, folks.
Yep.
We need it.
Absolutely.
We need it. They need it. And Missy, I'm glad you're all still here. I do love you guys. See you later.
Bye.